Workers and Resources Soviet Republic is a communist city builder about mass surveillance, industrial scale incompetence, sound economics, and creating a flawless utopia with no problems whatsoever. We'll be making our own republic today, converting it into a massive industrial powerhouse, and it'll definitely be economically stable. Oh, ran out of money. Throughout the time we're building a republic, I'll be joined by a good friend of mine, and friend of the channel, Your Man Jimbo. And if you want to see the pain live, go check out my live stream times. Anyways, let's get into it. When I started recording this video, I had a whopping 5 hours of playtime in this game, and sometimes it really showed. There was a save game where I imported too many third world immigrants. Yeah, invite 10 immigrants from Soviet bloc or the third world. Yeah. There was a game where my economy relied too much on oil production, and when the prices in the market fell, I paid the brunt of it, tanking my own economy. There was a save where the society just sort of stagnated, like full-on Brezhnev mode, so I naturally just ran out of money over time. And there was a game where I forgot to build a heating plant during the middle of an Eastern European blizzard, killing my entire population and forcing me to restart. But we weren't going to be deterred by this. We were going to make communism work, heating or not. We still have members of our republic that fought in the Great Patriotic War. Do you want to see them starve to death in hospital? Then get to shoveling the coal! Oh yeah, speaking of coal, the beginning of our new and final republic attempt would involve lots of it. Our first settlement, Spy Coal, see what I did there?
Got him!
Was going to be a good old-fashioned coal mine town, much like half of northern England. We need it so we can convert the funny black rocks,
You will eat the box, young!
into electricity and then use big wires to transfer said electricity to our Soviet brothers.
Space, my friends!
I actually don't care about it. I need the rubles personally because I can then use various corruption methods to get all of it directly into my Visa debit card account. To get the funny black rocks, we need workers to dig the coal, preferably children so they can mine through the small gaps. The workers need various different imported, for now, goods to keep themselves alive, including food, clothing, and most importantly, alcohol. Along with the previously mentioned items, we, need to build the city first. I am an actual genius at script writing. I first built the coal mine itself, then a processing plant using a conveyor belt to transfer the coal into a power plant. It was then time for some electricity wiring. We did that with some of the transformers, and then used medium and large wires, which are actually completely different, with them having different voltage. We used medium wires to transfer large amounts of electricity to substations so people could use the electricity that was now being produced by the bucket load. However, I did have to buy some from the border when initially setting up our town, which did set us back monetarily. The water and sewage systems are pretty similar too, with them also requiring a substation and a way to transfer it, like water pipes and sewage pipes. All of these services are way more complex in this game as opposed to City Skylines, for example, or the other one that hopefully everyone's forgotten about at this point. Please God, that game sucks. Anyway, in this game they also need actual pumps, purification, and treatment plants which require workers to function. To indoctrinate the public, I also needed to place down a Lenin statue immediately, so I got onto that, as well as some of the shops needed to sell the previously aforementioned goods to people. And, would you look at that, a few weeks in and we're making a little bit of money, and are now not completely reliant on government support. This state of affairs will not last long. Okay, so what now? Well, in terms of larger policy, I don't really know, but we can make their lives marginally better by allowing the children of the workers to go play football right next to our coal processing plants. Carcinogens. But apart from giving children asbestos poisoning, there's nothing we can really do except build another city. I went to go have a look at the border crossing, have a quick glance maybe, have a quick yonder to see what would work and what would be profitable to try and produce in our republic and sell to the wider Soviet bloc for loads of money. Whilst thinking about the bigger picture of our republic, I decided to make a few minor export routes to hopefully regulate some costs. Those export routes contained food from the food factory we just built, and also coal dump trucks. Get it? Another one of our goals is to make the republic into a nation of alcohol drinkers, because as we all know, alcoholics make for very fine and effective leaders. This definitely will not fuck us over later down the line. Whilst making the nation into drunken alcoholics, I had the idea of growing our own wheat, which obviously requires operating sharp, dangerous farm equipment. Anyway, the idea behind this would be to have a few fields growing what we need, and a few covered trucks transporting our produce to the border and to the local Tesco Express. To practice modern farming, we needed combines, tractors, and some trucks to do that. And after a few thousand rubles, hopefully we were going to be less reliant on outside food imports. People also needed housing because of the amount of jobs we just added to the economy. We can't really see our work though, because there's There's no Green Line Go Up simulator. Anyway, the people just got a new cinema. It says Kino on the building. Hopefully it's just my Atomic Heart video on repeat for 20 hours a day.
This game
Atomic Heart full review at 1 million subscribers. I mean it. The people also demanded and needed walkable cities. By people, I mean the creators of this infographic. The word person is debatable. Now, after all that hard work of, you know, doing things... Oh, ran out of money. You might be expecting me to be incredibly wealthy now, or at least, you know, doing something to mitigate the rising costs of more and more people in our republic, and you'd be wrong. Things are only going to get worse. We're losing hundreds of thousands each month, and our imports are way higher than our exports. But honestly, does it even really matter? We can just loan our way out of the issue. Why read Marxist doctrine when you can just take an IMF loan every few months? 2 million rubles just injected into our monetary supply. Inflation? Don't worry about it. And also, if anyone criticizes you for it, you can just get them arrested by the secret police, which we've just built, by the way. After the construction of the secret police, obviously the most important state service, I remembered about the lesser ones, you know, like a fire station, the regular police for just not very important crimes, and also some health services. Apparently no one had a clinic in this town. Maybe there were like some voodoo health clinics or something, except a Russian Orthodox version, I don't know. Anything's possible. Anyway, irrespective of our nation's pretty shoddy healthcare, we're doing alright, I guess. I mean, being a Soviet Republic in the 80s is a pretty low bar, to be fair. But we need to be talking about the bigger picture here. I tried oil in my previous runs and it went pretty terribly.
This game is actually over, man. Like, there's no saving it.
I had the idea, well, my friend, General Secretary of the Soviet Union, yourmanwoke, had an idea about using uranium. I love the funny green rock. Basically, the idea was just to import uranium from the border and then turn it into uranium oxide and make a huge markup on it and sell it across the border with some trucks. So I got onto that, I guess. I mean, I built a small town to facilitate that idea. The town included a few basic amenities and a mostly useless bus service, and after a month of intense construction, we were finally done. But that endeavour didn't really quench my thirst for expansionism. I wanted more people and more industry, and fast, so I went after the oil idea I had, first with a smaller project, and then to expand our oil ventures into real oil processing in large refineries. The reason why I went for a more basic oil setup initially is because, fun fact about pure oil resource extraction in this game, it literally requires no workers. 0 workers to operate. Don't ask me how the pump jacks work, or how the station loads the barrels of oil, or how the train, you know, moves. It just does, okay? Is your theory backed up by science? Is it peer-reviewed? It just does, okay? Why wouldn't the train just move on its own? You don't trust science? My wife's boyfriend just...
I have used this piece of shit like once. I got this thing like 4 years ago and I have used it once. I'm not even fucking joking.
I guess it's completely automated in this timeline. There was a pretty small oil patch near the custom house of Apotamo, so I decided to set up camp there, and after a few pump jacks, a railway, and a train station, a pump to load the oil onto the trains, and then a connection to the custom house with our secondary town, and would you look at that? 30,000 rubles per export. It's also an Ottoman game now, so we're finally approaching the first year of our rule over this land. Sure, 30 grand is a lot, but we could make even more. The only real downside is that requires workers and resources. They require workers, and a lot of them. I had to gaze at the resource tab in the custom house again and realized how much more profitable it would be to convert the regular oil into bitumen fuel. These refined liquids are worth 3 or 4 times the regular price of oil, so I got onto that, scouting out an oil field near our original town of Spyko, and let me tell you, this oil field is massive. Really made me feel like Sheldon from Just Cause 3. Anyway, I built the town, and after that pretty cumbersome task, I placed the railways to the custom house before letting a train go and make the money we so desperately needed. And holy shit, after dumping us with the first big paycheck, it drove back to the station to pick up more, and since we had so many workers there already, we were making a huge surplus of the stuff. Anyway, back in barely competent small British child YouTuber land, I had somehow screwed up the recording of my microphone audio for half of the video files. No one cares! Oh my... Have I lost all of the Do you know what? It's fine. It'll just be a voiceover. Stop! I am so smart. It's winter now, and you might be thinking, after the disaster of everyone dying in an Eastern European blizzard, that we might be, Struggling? But honestly, not really. Things are going incredibly well, actually, and the statistics have never been better. We now had 3 settlements in our republic and 3,000 people from scratch, with no major issues, and it's pretty respectable, I guess. We did have a few issues with our heating plants, however, ironically. With this one in particular, in Spyco, saying it had no workers. General Secretary of the Soviet Union, your man Jimbo, said that the solution to any of my employment problems shouldn't just always be placing more apartments.
No workers.
No workers. The DEI
Your
hire.
solution shouldn't always be just place another residential block. It's every problem.
No, it's
Just
fine.
causes more
There's
problems.
one guy there, now it's working. And yeah, probably, but what am I gonna do? It's not like I can tell people to go work in a particular building, right? Can't do that at all. Whilst dealing with the everyone is too cold, mate problem, ironically the complete opposite started happening to this very unfortunate block of flats. It just burst into flames, and I actually forgot to buy a fire truck ladder to deal with fires in taller buildings.
You might want to buy
Go!
another fire truck. You might want to buy another fire. It's already gone. You need another one. That might help you. Get a fire ladder.
Did you guys see the beef between Big Justice and the Rizzler?
Can you shut up? Hold on, wait,
They're
okay,
beefing on
wait, hold on,
stream.
hold on. Oh wait, it can't access it, can it? Can it? Oh, it just goes up. Okay, that's good. Yippee! Fire extinguished. Yippee! I also said my goal for this run after the fire was extinguished, I'd like to be making $1 million a month. Yep, buddy, that is not happening. Maybe next time. Zach's internet also went out and he decided to send us a few pictures of his home whilst waiting for his broadband or dial-up, I don't know, to come back up. It's so bad I actually thought he was baiting half the time.
It is pretty
That's
chill
not
to
your
sit
house.
there. That's not my house.
That's not your house.
I think that's not my house.
Is that actually your house? It actually looks like something from Resident Evil. That looks like some shit in Donetsk. Like, what are you on about? Is that actually... What the fuck? That's not... You actually live in Stalker. What the fuck is this?
It is chill, to be fair.
Actually Resident Evil 7. What the fuck is this? I also debated with Zach after he came back from his dial-up internet about the viability of adding a few more oil trains to the oil field and the refinery.
Well, if you consider, they make a lot of money.
They do.
I mean,
Just from this...
another train.
I had a look at our finances and oh my god, they look incredibly green. And this is including the construction costs we still have to pay because we don't have a domestic supply of bricks and any other building materials. It's spring now and the oil train idea from half a minute ago is now actually being acted on. And after 3 weeks in-game of setting up the trains, one of them was filled up and heading towards the border. That's like 100,000 rubles in the bank. I also had a look at the oil refinery and in this game, the more workers that there are in a building, the better the building functions. Me, being incredibly greedy, saw that there were only 130-ish workers in the refinery and that just simply wasn't enough. Right, you all just go in there. Just make more. Make more. Come on. We want to get to 50%. Come on. We can do this. Come on. We need to battery farm at least another 300 people in there. I placed down 2 entire blocks of the highest capacity with like 400 people each and set their preferred workplace to the oil refinery. And oh yeah, mate, look at that production percentage soar. Oh! 400. Come on. More. Do you remember when I said that state-sponsored alcohol addiction was going to be a major part of our republic? What's our alcohol addiction at? 38%. It's dropping. That's not good. Well, it's at 38% and I hadn't really done anything except just place a pub in every town we had. When I built the new residential complex, however, I decided to do something very different. A mega pub. Oh, this is a big boy. Half the size of the oil refinery, by the way. Hopefully, our alcohol addiction will rise from now on. I looked at the resources tab and decided to dabble in another resource extraction exporting endeavor. This time, however, it was going to be some iron mining and then a huge steel mill. Damn, this thing is absolutely massive. I wired some electricity over from our town to suppliers, as well as setting up some basic amenities and just, you know, the regular town stuff like a grocery store and a mega pub. I tried going for a more utopian layout this time, however, with some nice straight roads and easy access to most buildings to help out pedestrians. I wired the one bendy road up to our iron mine so people could access them, and I had initially assumed that people would just kind of, you know, walk there, but they didn't, I guess. I caved and set up a bus service so they could take the bus there too, but that didn't work either. I caved again by just building some apartments in the damn place. Time for the new train out of our town, so we could ship the newly produced steel that they were now producing. That was done in a few minutes, and of course, we needed entertainment, like a mega pub and a cinema. And hey, that's pretty much it for our 4th town. Obviously, we continued the state sponsoring of mass amounts of alcoholism. We had 50% of the republic now addicted to alcohol. wholly based. Drunk driving is now just a normal thing to do.
It's the drunk crashers that get us in trouble. They give us a bad rap. I can drive perfectly. You guys are seeing this.
We truly have reached Hyperborea. I also decided to give some people in Spyco access to cars that they can drive around. I guess it kind of raises their living standards, and we make a little bit of money off it, so why not? In April of the second year, I wanted to build a second steel mill town because of the reasonable success of our first attempt. An hour or so later, this turned into a mechanical parts town, but that's besides the point. And what's great about this town is that it's right next to the border, so we don't have to spend huge amounts on connecting up the rail line to the outside world. I also tried using these forklift things. I don't know what they're really called in game. Forklifts, I guess. I don't know. It went alright, I guess. I mean, it just did what it was supposed to. Just picking up cargo from the mechanical parts factory to the, train station itself. More towns. This time, aluminum. This required a bauxite mine, processing facility, an alumina plant, and then the aluminium production place itself. So uniquely, it's a 4-step refinement process instead of the usual 3. But by this time in the run, we were heading towards complete bankruptcy. And honestly, the IMF loan every 3 months trick was going to run out eventually.
How to achieve communism? Lenin, wall of text, Tito, IMF loan, IMF loan, IMF loan, IMF,
IMF loan, IMF loan,
IMF loan,
IMF
IMF
loan.
loan.
IMF loan. I mean, even the World Monkey Fund stops funding eventually, so I kind of had to face, defeat. Sure, I probably could have prolonged the run for another year or two, but the losses were literally hundreds every second, and I don't really know how there hasn't been a revolution yet anyway, because I forgot to place a Lenin statue every 3 meters. Anyway, if you did enjoy my attempt at building a Soviet Republic from scratch, subscribe for more. My next video's coming very soon, if I'm able to edit it in time for Factoria Space Age. It'll be a Hearts of Iron 4 video, and if not, it'll be just Factoria. Thanks again. I started up a Patreon recently, so if you want to support me more than just watching my dumbass videos, subscribe. Without further begging, thank you for 6K. I have huge plans for next year, despite it being October. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Face dank.